Okay, good evening, my dear children. Very good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Very
evening, sir.
good evening. Very good evening.
Good evening,
Today
sir.
we are going to touch
Good
upon
evening.
one of the most important pros, that is wave. Right? Today we are going to touch upon wave. Not only touch upon, we are going to analyze it deeply and discuss this prose wave. This is an extract actually. This is an extract taken from a memo of life after the tsunami by Sonali Dharaniyagala. Right? What is an extract? As you know, what is an extract? Extract කියලා කියන ඔයාලා දන්න විදිහට මොකද්ද පුතේ? What is an extract? What is an extract? Right, very good. Extract means something taken from somewhere. Right? Extract. Extract. මොකද අපි extract කියලා කියන්නේ? උපුටා ගැනීමක්. Right? උපුටා ගැනීමක්. An extract from wave, a memo of life after the tsunami, Sonali Dharniyagala. A memo of life after the tsunami. A memo. A memo means, what is a memo? What is a memo? What is a memo?
මතක සටහන්
Right, yeah, something like memo, recollection. Memo means something like a recollection, right? Recollection, right? A memo of life after the tsunami, Sonali Dharaniyagala. Sonali Dharaniyagala, right? Memo ekak. Memo ekak means a memo, kind of, you can take even as a tute, even a kind of recollection, a tute, a tutorial, right? A written document of life after the tsunami by Sonali Dharnikal. Now, have you seen that book, Pute? ඔයාලා පොත දැකලා තියෙනවද? මෙන්න පොත. Have you seen that book? The book has 159 pages. මේකේ තියෙනවා පිටු 159ක්. මේකේ තියෙනවා පිටු කීයක්ද? 159ක්. පේනව නේද? පිටු 159ක් තියෙනවා. Wave. Sonali Dharnikal wave. Okay, what is the setting here? What is the setting here? මේකේ මොකද්ද පුතේ setting එක? මේකේ දාලාම තියෙන උඩ මොකද්ද මේ? Yala, Sri Lanka, December 26, 2004. 2004 December 26. Right? Okay. This has a lot of chapters. Chapters හුඟක් තියෙනවා මේකේ ideally. Right? How many chapters are there? Chapters කීයක් තියෙනවද? Part 9. 9 parts. Part 9ක් තියෙනවා මේ 9 part. 9 part එක 149න් පටන් ගන්නෙ. Right? Okay. අර සංගක්කාරගේ ස්පීච් එකේ කතාවේ parts තිබ්බා වගේ මේකෙත් parts තියෙනවනේ. ඒක part එකකින් තමයි මෙතන පටන් ගන්නෙ. Right? Okay. Now we are given an extract. Right? Okay. We start here. Wave. What is a wave? Wave කියන්නේ මොකද්ද මේ wave? දැන් මේ පොතේ නමත් පුතේ මොකද්ද? What is the name of the book? පොතේ නමත් මොකද්ද? මේ පොතේ නම මොකද්ද? කතා කරන්න. What is it? මොකද්ද ඒක?
Wave.
Wave. What is a wave? What is a wave? Wave කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? What is a wave? What is a wave? As you know, Pute, waves are where? කොහෙද තියෙන waves? Ideally, we can see these waves from sea. Sea waves. We call them sea waves. Wave means rala, wave, right? I'll show you one of the waves that I captured from internet, right? So I'll have the copyright to show it. Don't worry, I'll show it to you right here. This, can you see this? Thank for the copyright here. This is something like you see. Now see closely what's happening here. See closely what's happening here. Closely බලන්න පුතේ මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා. See, the waves are taking its side and they are becoming disastrous. They are becoming bigger and bigger. They are getting inside the hotels. We can see some chairs, tables being washed off. Now see what happens. Now see what happens. I have seen that. Have you seen that? I have seen that.
Yes, sir.
Right, but I don't think that you have seen that to your naked eyes. You have seen them through the videos, through the of course through the videos, right? I don't think that you have seen them through your naked eyes. It means you don't have real experience. Even I don't have real life experience related to tsunami, right? We never know what tsunami was until it hit Sri Lanka, right? Okay, now here wave. Now waves means the waves which are coming from the ocean, right? Coming from the ocean. මුහුදේ ඉඳලා එන waves වලට අපි කියනවා රළ කියලා, waves කියලා, right? Okay. Now I'll start the text here like this. It was then she saw the wave. Now remember, the wave has an important specific connotation with the whole setting. That is, it is because of these waves that she lost her life. Her life? No. It is because of these waves that she lost her loving ones, not her life, right? She never lost her life. She saved her life, right? She saved her life. She saved her life. She lost the life of her loving ones because of these tidal waves, because of tsunami, right? So, therefore, the focal point is towards wave. Remember, it is in a way symbolic. Symbolic of the disaster. Symbolic of the disaster happened to Sonali, right? So wave symbolize in a way the dark side of her life, dark side of her life, right? Which she finally uh, which she finally passed. එයා අවසානයේ පහු කරපු ඒ ජීවිතය චිත්‍රණය කරනවා. It depicts her dark life, right? She had in the past, right? Okay. Now here, this extract we are given only the like in the uh, lava attack. Here also we are given an extract, only a limited part පුතේ. We are given only a limited part. අපිට දීලා තියෙන පුතේ සීමිත කොටසක් විතරයි. එතකොට මේ පොතේ තියෙනවා පිටු කීයක්ද? මේ පිටු 159ක් තියෙනවා. මේක ලස්සන කතාවක් කියවලා බලන්න ඕන ඔයාලා. right? Very interesting story. ලස්සන කතාවක්. ඔයාලට ආසයිත් මේක කියවලා බලන්න ඔයාලා. ඔයාලගේ ජීවිතේටම වටින කතාවක්. පිටු 159ක් ඔයාලට දවස් 3ෙන් කියවන්න පුළුවන්. හරියට ගත්තොත් දවස් 2කින් එක දවසින් කියවන්නත් පුළුවන්. in one sitting. one sitting කියවලා දාන්න. ලස්සන කතාවක්. There may be a lot of difficult words, right? New words. I don't say difficult words, new words. අලුත් වචන තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. අලුත් වචන මග අරින්න. මග අරලා පුළුවන් තරම් තේරුමත් එක්ක පොඩි පොඩි meanings හොයාගෙන කියවලා බලන්න. So interesting. ඉතා interesting, right? Very interesting. Right. Okay. Now we'll move to the text. අපි දැන් text එකට යන් අපේ text එකට. අපිට දීලා තියෙන එක. අපිට දීලා තියෙනවා It was then she saw the wave. Oh my God. The sea is coming in. You see, at the very beginning of the text extract, she gives a focus onto the sense of surprise. Sense of surprise. එක පාටම පුදුමයක් පෙන්නනවා. Oh my God. It was then she saw the wave. Oh my God, the sea is coming in. The sense of surprise. At what? At a disaster. What kind of a disaster? This is expected disaster? No. මේක බලාපොරොත්තු සහ බොල මෙයා බලාපොරොත්තුෙන් හිටියද අප්පා මේ මේකක් එයි මේම කියලා නෑ පුතේ. This is an unexpected disaster. බලාපොරොත්තු නොවුණු disaster එකක්. So ඒ disaster එකට මෙයාගේ තිබුණු sense of surprise එක බලන්න. Oh my god, sense of surprise. Oh my god, the sea is coming in. That's what she said. එයා කිව්වේ එච්චරයි. I looked behind me. මම මගේ පිටිපස්ස බැලුවා. It didn't seem that remarkable. ඒක එච්චර remarkable උන්නේ නැහැ. Or alarming. It was only the white curl of a big wave. You can understand, right? It was only the white curl of a big wave. I'm not going to explain everything line by line, right? I think you understood that part. Everybody understood? ඔක්කොටම තේරුණාද පුතේ?
Yes, sir.
Right, sure, good. තේරුණ නැති පාටක් තිබ්බොත් මට කියන්න ඕනේ, right? Okay. It didn't seem that remarkable. Now remember at the very beginning she gives us an alarming message. She gives us an alarming message that there are going to be something a surprise. There comes something surprise. There comes something disastrous. There comes something catastrophic. There comes something calamitous, right? Because of this bigger wave. Now, oh alarming, it was only the white curl of a big wave. It was only the white curl of a big wave. But you didn't usually see breaking waves from our room. But you couldn't usually see breaking waves from our room. අපේ room එකේ ඉඳලා breaking waves බලන්න බැහැලු. You hardly notice the ocean at all. ඔයාට කොහෙද? මුහුද පේන්නේ බාගෙට. It was just a glint of blue above the wide spread of sand that sloped sharply down to the water. Now, nice picture. These are called visual images. මේවට අපි කියනවා visual images කියලා. මම underline කරගන්න පුතේ. මම මතක තියාගන්න. මේවා නෙමේ. මෙන්න මේවා. මොනවද? It was a white curl of a big wave. ඔයව underline කරගන්න. Oh my god. You'll have to highlight these, right? I am highlighting along this explanation. මේ explanation එක යන අතරේ මම මේවට highlight කරනවා. So you'll have to do that. You'll have to do it yourself. ඔයාලා ඒ වැඩේ කරගන්න ඕනේ. මොකද මේ it is important for your exam. ඔයාලගේ exam එකට වැදගත් වෙනවා මේ ටික. Oh god. The sea is coming in. Next one. It was only the white curl of a big wave. You'll have to remember those lines, right? Okay. Next. Blue. So remember this thing too. It was just a glint of blue above that wide spread of sand that sloped sharply down the water. Now you'll have to everything. You'll have to visualize. You'll have to visualize. Or to visualize කරන්න ඕන පුතේ. You'll have to picture yourself. It means you'll have to picture yourself what is happening here. You'll have to picture yourself what is being told. කියන දේ මොකද්ද කියලා චිත්‍රයක් ඔළුවේ මවා ගන්න ඕනේ. Right? Now here you'll have to create a mental picture. මානසික චිත්‍රයක් මවා ගන්න ඕනේ මෙතන. දැන් මේ වෙන දේ. මේ දැන් වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? මේ බලන්න ocean එක තියෙනවා. Right? It was just a glint of blue above that widespread sand that sloped sharply down to water. Now water is coming down towards this sand area, right? What is that color of the water? Blue color, blue above. See the connotations used, blue water. At the same time they are symbolic, blue, related to sky, right? So it is coming far, right? It is coming far. ඈත ඉඳලා එනවනේ. ඈත ඉඳලා එනවා blue. Right? We see that sky kissing. ආකාශ සිඹින සයාවේ ඉඳලා මේ මෙහාට එනවා මේ මුහුද. මුහුද ගලාගෙන එනවා. So we are now actually we at the end we realize that somebody is victimized. අවසානයේ කෙනෙක් victimize වෙනවා කියලා අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ. victimize වෙන කෙනෙක් ගොදුරු වෙනවා කියලා අපි දැනගන්නවා. එතකොට now fate is coming to us from far end. ඈතක ඉඳලා අපිට දෛවය ළඟා වෙනවනේ. කොහාට හරි තැනකට අපිට දෛවය ළඟා වෙනවා. ඒ දෛවය ළඟා වෙන හැටි ලස්සනට මේක චිත්‍රණය කරනවා. බලන්න. Right? Okay, now the froth of a wave had scaled up the slope and was nearing the tall conifers that were halfway between our room and the water's edge. What is being told? Now, the froth of a wave. Froth of a wave කියන්නේ පුතේ? Now, froth of a wave. What are froth? Froth කියන්නේ මොනවද? දන්නවද froth කියන්නේ මොනවද කියලා? What are froth? දන්නව froth? Froth කියන්නේ මොනවද? පේනනේ? Froth. Froth of a wave had scaled up the slope and was nearing the tall conifers. Right? Conifers කියන්නේ මොනවද? Right? Conifers කියන්නේ මොනවද? Now the froth of a wave had scaled up. Scaled up. Now froth of the wave had scaled up. Scaled up කියන්නේ ඉහළ ගිහිලා තියෙනවා. Scaled up. Scaled up. ඉහළ ගිහිලා තියෙනවා. Right? Scaled up. ඉහළ ගිහිලා තියෙනවා. ඉහළ ගිහිලා තියෙනවා. Scaled up. Right? Scaled up. To the slope. මේ slope එකට. Right? What is this scaling up this slope and was nearing the tall conifers. Conifers කියන්නේ මොනවද පුතේ? Tall conifers කියන්නේ? So that is a kind of a tree. Tall conifers that were halfway between our room and the water's edge. That is a kind of a tree. අපි ඒකට මොකක්ද කියන්නේ conifers? මං හිතන්නේ මොකක්ද ඔකට කියන්නේ? මොකක් හරි ගහක්. ඒ ගහ මොකක්ද මට සිංහලෙන් කියන්න දන්නේ නැහැ මම මොකක්ද කියන්නේ conifers, right? Conifers that were halfway between our room and the water's edge. Water edge එකයි room එකයි අතරේ තියෙන tall conifers ළඟටම වතුර එන්න පටන් ගත්තා. Right? Incongruous those trees in this landscape of brittle thorny scrub. Incongruous. What is incongruous? So write the meanings, right? Incongruous. What is incongruous? What is incongruous? නොගැලපෙන නැත්නම් incongruous අපි කියනවා නොගැලපෙන නැත්නම් incongruous. Mismatching, right? Mismatching those trees in this landscape of bristle thorny scrub. No, it means these what do you call conifers, tall conifer trees and tall conifers that were halfway between our room and the water's edge. Incongruous those trees in the landscape of bristle thorny scrub. So they were quite unsuitable. They were mismatching to those trees in this landscape. This landscape, may landscape eකට mismatching because we can't see them clearly, right? This was peculiar, right? This was peculiar. On a short sentences, this was peculiar. I called out to Steve in the bathroom. Now this was peculiar. Now this particular incident, this was peculiar. What is peculiar? What is peculiar? What is peculiar? Let to answer. What is peculiar? What is peculiar?
Wonder.
Yeah, it is quite a peculiar means you can take peculiar. I'll tell you, peculiar you can take as quite special, right? Amutu, strange. Ideal word is strange. Ideal word is strange. Name vachan is strange. This was quite strange. Peculiar can put a strange, right? Strange. This was quite peculiar, strange. This was quite peculiar, strange. I called out to Steve in the bathroom. We find another character. Who is that character? Who is that character? Steve. Right, Steve. So underline this was peculiar. This was peculiar. I called out to Steve in the bathroom. Come out, Steve. I want to show you something odd. And odd කියන එකට තව සමාන වචනයක් මොකක්ද? Something odd, something strange. I didn't want him to miss this. I didn't want him to miss this. මට ඕන වුණේ නෑලු එයාට මේක මිස් කරවන්න. Come out. එළියට එන්න. Steve, I want you to show you something odd. මට ඔයාට odd දෙයක් පෙන්වන්න ඕන කියලා කියනෝනේ. Right. odd දෙයක් පෙන්වන්න ඕන කියලා කියනවා. I wanted him to come out quick before all this form dissolved. මේ form ඔක්කොම dissolve වෙන්න කලින් එයාට පෙන්වන්න යමක් ඕනේ වුණාලුනේ. Right. Okay. In a minute, Steve muttered with no intention of rushing out. එයාට intention එකක් අදහසක් නැහැ කියලා කිව්වා ඉක්මනට එන්න. Right. In a minute, Steve muttered with no intention of rushing out. Rushing out කියලා intention එකක් rushing out කියන ඉක්මනට එන අදහසක් නැතුව එයා muttered කරා in a minute. Right. Right. Okay. Right. Then there was more white froth and more. Vic was sitting by the back door reading the first page of The Hobbit. I told him to shut that door. It was a glass door with 4 panels, and he closed each one and then came across the room and stood by me. He didn't say anything. He didn't ask me what was going on. So there actually we find something very symbolic, right? Then there was more white froth. So here white froth is symbolic of what? White froth. White is symbolic of what? White is symbolic of what? Happiness, sorrow, or what? White is symbolic of what? Come on, talk a little bit. White is symbolic of what? White is symbolic of, according to our culture, it is symbolic of sadness, right? But according to Western countries, the mourning means the sadness. For the mourning, they use the color black. But here, in our context, here white is symbolic of sadness, but white froth, I'll tell you, white froth is symbolic of what? Uncertainty, intangibility. Intangibility කියලා කියන්නේ කැඩෙන සුළු බව. Fragility of life, right? Intangibility. Intangible කියලා කියන්නේ intangible components කියලා කියන්නේ මොනවටද? Constitution එකට intangible මේක fragility. Wow, easily breakability, right? And more. Now there was white froth. Now this white froth is symbolic of fragility of life, right? And also uncertainty of life, symbolic, right? Vic was sitting by the back door reading the first page of The Hobbit, right? First page of The Hobbit. First page of The Hobbit. Remember, first page of The Hobbit. What is Hobbit? What is Hobbit? The Hobbit. Who has written Hobbit? We'll have the Google God. We'll see what is Hobbit and who has written the Hobbit. Right, I'll tell you. I won't tell you this. The Hobbit. Right, okay, I'll show you. Right, this is what? This is what? This is the Hobbit. Can you see? There are a lot of books, but I suppose it is this book. By where we haven't given the author, right? Vic was sitting by the back door reading the first page of The Hobbit, right? But I want to tell you what is the importance of taking Hobbit here. What is the meaning of Hobbit? Hobbit කියන එකේ තේරුම දන්නවද පුතාලා මොකක්ද කියන්න? මොකද Hobbit කියන එකේ තේරුම? ඔයාලා මේක රීඩ් කරේ නැද්ද කලින්? Did you read this early? What is Hobbit? What is Hobbit? Hobbit කියන්නේ මොකක්ද පුතේ? What is Hobbit? What is Hobbit? Ayyo. Of course, thank you, Prabodha. As the Google God says, as the Google God says, uh, the Hobbit means it is a kind of it is actually a member of an imaginary race similar to humans, kind of an අඟුරු මිට්ට ඒ වගේ එක්කෙනෙක් Hobbit කියන්නේ, right? Hobbit, right? Hobbit මේ ඕන තරම් පින්තූර තියෙනවා, you can trace it, right? We'll go to Google and say here The Hobbit. There and Back Again, a children's fantasy novel by English author J.R.R. Tolkien. It was published in 1937. White criticism acclaim. Right, okay, Hobbit. Tolkien. Right, I think this is the book. This is a children's novel, right? I haven't read it. Actually, to be honest, I haven't read it. මම නම් කියලා නැහැ. කියවන්න හොඳ ඇති. A glorious account of a magnificent adventure filled with suspense and seasoned with a quiet humor. This is irresistible, right? Superb book. I can recommend you, right? Watch it, right? Okay. Now, what I want to tell you, Hobbit. First page of the Hobbit. What is the importance of taking Hobbit here? He could have said something else. Hobbit. The first page of the Hobbit. Because it is something related to children, right? It is something related to children, and also Hobbit, this imaginary race, something related to this imaginary kind of creature, imaginary kind of animal, or imaginary kind of race similar to humans, can be taken as has some connotation related to this incident wave. What is that wave? I'll draw parallels between these two. Remember very well. මම මේ දෙක අතර සම්බන්ධය කියන්න මොකක්ද කියලා හොඳට බලා ගන්න. මේකේ පුතේ කියන්නේ imaginary කතාවක්. Right? But here what Sonali says is something actual, something real, right? Something real. It is not something imaginary. It is not something imaginary, right? It is something real. It is real, right? But here, whereas Vicky is reading something imaginary. Now, this is the connotation I come here. This is the incident that I relate here, where Vicky is taken out from the imaginary world and put into the real world by this incident, right? මේ incident එකෙන් වික්ව කරකවල අතාරිනවා කොහින්ද? හැබැයි මේ බලන්න. Because was sitting by the back door reading the first page of The Hobbit. I told him to shut that door. It was a glass door with 4 panels, and he closed each one and then came across the room and stood by me. He didn't say anything. He didn't ask me what was going on. බලන්න මෙන්න මේවා හොඳට මාක් කරගන්න. He didn't say anything. He didn't ask me what was going on, right? He was like an amphibian, right? Amphibian කියන්නේ දෙලොව කතරේ රත් වෙච්ච කොල්ලෙක් දැන් මේ කවුද? කවුද පුතේ? කවුද පුතේ මේ දෙලොවක් අතර රත් වෙලා ඉන්නේ ඈ
Week.
වික් ඇයි දෙලොවක් අතර රත් වෙලා ඉන්නේ වික් දැන් කියවන්න ගත්තේ මොකද්ද what did he start reading මොකද්ද කියවන්න ගත්තේ යා
The book Hobbit,
the
which
book
is imaginary story.
it's an imaginary story now she is taken out now she නෙමේ now he is taken out from that imaginary kind of world to the real world by this incident right මේ incident එකේ මේ කොල්ලව දැන් කරකොල අතාරිනවා පැහැදිලිද ඕක කවුරුවත් කියලා නැහැ පැහැදිලිද ලිටරචර් කරන කට්ටියට හම්බෙන ටේස්ට් එකක් පැහැදිලිද සමහරු කියයි විකාර explanations කියලා but I still prefer analyzing literature in such a depth ඔච්චර ගැඹුරෙන් සාහිත්‍ය ඇනලයිස් කරන්න අපි කැමතියි right when we were in university also we used to analyze those kind of stuff like that sometimes so deep right we have to see the connotations each connotation each incident closely දැන් මෙතන හොබිට් කියපුවම ඉමේජිනරි කතාවක් නේ බලන්න ඉමේජිනරි කතාවක් නේ ඉමේජිනරි කතාවක පොත කියවන්න ගත්ත කොල්ලෙකුට මේක පාටම සිද්ධිය වෙනකොට අම්ම කතා කරනකොට කරකලා අතෑරියා වගේ right now it is all unexpected right it's all unexpected right now the form turned into waves අන්න තවත් හොඳ ලයින් එකක් අන්ඩර්ලයින් කරගන්න පුතේ the form turned into waves waves leaping over the ridge where the beach ended waves leaping over the ridge waves කියන්නේ මොනවද පුතේ waves කියන්නේ දැන් දන්නවලා waves මොනවද මේ රළ පාරවල් leaping over leap පයින්නවා over the ridge where the beach ended beach එක end උඩට ridge කියන්නේ මොකද්ද දන්නවනේ ridge කියන්නේ මොකද්ද what is ridge දැන් ඔයාලා meanings දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ what is ridge leaping over what is leaping over what is leaping over leap jump කියනවාට සමාන වචනයක් leap කියමනක් තියෙනවා think before you leap කියලා think before you leap පනින්න පෙර සිතා බලන්න think before you leap leaping කියන්නේ leap උඩ පනිනවා ridge කියන්නේ පුතේ ridge means kind of වැටිය නැත්තම් අපි කියනවා අයිනක් where the beach ended this was not normal underline කරන්න තව හොඳ ලයින් එකක් this was not normal මේක සාමාන්‍ය නෙවෙයි the sea never came this far waves not residing or dissolving waves recede වෙන්නේ අඩු වෙන්නේ නැහැ dissolve වෙන්නේ නැහැ closer now one short sentences දාලා තියෙන short sentences now this is a real world scenario right now brown or grey now what is important now repetition of these lines brown I මේ පාට සම්බන්ධ කරලා තියෙන මෙතන මෙම් waves not residing over or dissolving closer now ළඟයි brown and grey කොළ පාටයි sorry brown මොනවද මේ brown මොකද අපි කියන්නේ තැඹිලි මොනවද brown මොනවද අපේ මොන පාටද දුඹුරු පාටයි grey මොන පාටද grey කියන්නේ grey color අපේ එයා එක grey වෙනවා කියන්නේ ඒක grey වෙනවා gravia sometimes they have grey අලු පාට නිකන් අලුවට උරු පාට brown කියන්නේ පුතේ මේ මොන පාටද දුඹුරු පාට හරි brown or grey why this repetition used brown and grey or grey is there any impact here මොකද impact එකක් තියෙනවද කියන්න පුළුවන්ද කාටද මම පොඩ්ඩක් කල්පනා කරලා Now grey is symbolic of death and decay. Right? Brown is also symbolic of odd color. මේක odd color එකක්. brown කියන්නේ අපි කියනවා off color එකක්. Right? දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් red ගත්තොත් that's a shiny color, right? green ගත්තොත් shiny color. pink ගත්තොත් red pink brown නෙමෙයි. red pink yellow green මේවා මොනවද? very shiny colors. But brown and grey, especially grey color, grey is symbolic of death and decay. Grey is symbolic of death and decay. එතකොට මෙයාලගේ මේ ජීවිතවල තියෙන අනිත්‍ය බව, මෙයාලගේ ජීවිතවලට වෙන්න යන තියෙන දේ මේ කලර්ස් වලින් සිම්බලයිස් කරන ලස්සනට බලන්න කොච්චර ලස්සනට මේක ලියලා තියෙනවද. Waves rushing past the conifers and coming closer to our room. All these waves now charging, churning. On the last line, among awesome line, underline karagan. All these waves now charging, churning. Last one, charging. I love it. All these waves now charging, churning. මේ waves and charge වෙනවා බැටරියට ගාපුවම රෝපණය වෙනවා රෝපණය වෙලා තියෙනවා charging, churning, right? Suddenly furious, suddenly furious, one short line. Suddenly furious, like hydrated monster කෙනෙක් වගේ. ඔලු 10ක් 15ක් තියෙන ඔලු ගොඩාරියක් තියෙන monster කෙනෙක් වගේ. අපි ඔලු 10ක් 15ක් තියෙන කෙනෙක් දැක්කොත් මොන වෙයිද? බය වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ hydrated monster කෙනෙක් වගේ දැන් suddenly furious, right? Suddenly menacing වෙනවා. Right? Menacing. Steve, you have got to come out. ඔයාට දැන් එළියට එන්න වෙනවා. Now. Steve ran out of the bathroom. Trying his sarong. සරම ඇඳගෙන බාගට දාගෙන දෙනවා දුවගෙන කවුද මේ? Steve. We didn't speak. අපි දැන් කතා කරේ නෑ. දැන් දෙන්නටම තේරෙන වැඩේ. They didn't speak, right? Now here what is now actually what is here? Steve ran out of the bathroom trying his sarong. He looked outside. We didn't speak. They all realized it, right? They all realized the disaster is coming. The disaster has already come, right? Okay. I grabbed Vic and Marley and we all ran out of the front door. It was ahead of Steve. Grab කියන්නේ දැහැගත්තා බදාගත්තා. Underline කරගන්න එක වැදගත්ම line එක. I grabbed Vic and Marley and we all ran out of the front door. Right? It was ahead of Steve. I grabbed Vic and Marley. දැන් මේ බලන්න. Grab කියන්නේ දැහැගත්තා. So why grabbing? Grab something. Grab කියන්නේ so possessive nature of these humans when they are in disaster. එයාලා disaster එකකට හිර වෙනකොට එයාලා disaster එකකට අහු වෙනකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? Right? Very good. එයාලා මේ disaster එකකට අහු වෙනකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? They are possessive nature. දැහැගන්න ආකාරය. කවුද දැහැගන්නේ? තමන්ගේ ළඟ ඉන්න කට්ටිය. ඇයි? එයාලවත් බේරගන්න තමයි යන්න හදන්නේ. දැන් මේ බලන්න තමන්ගේම කට්ටිය especially their own ones. The close knit blood. එකට බැඳිච්ච blood තියෙන කට්ටිය. එකට සමාන වෙලාවට තමන්ගේම පුතා, තමන්ගේම අම්මා, තමන්ගේම තාත්තා. සමහරවිට ඈත දුර දැනකමක් තියෙනවනම් එච්චර ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ කියා කරන්න. දැන් අපිට මේක එක හම්බෙනවා. බලමු. Right? ඈත දුර කියන්නේ සමහරවිට තමන්ගේම අම්මා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. වයසයි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. But we don't even care to call them. Why? Because we value our own child. Right? Now here I grabbed Vic and Marley. කවුද Vic and Marley කියන්නේ? මෙයාලගේ ළමයි. I grabbed Vic and Marley and we all ran out of the front door. I was ahead of Steve. I held the boys each my hand. Give me one of them. Steve shouted, reaching out. මේ බලන්න මට එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්න කියලා කියනවා අන්ඩර්ලයින් කරගන්න එක. Steve shouted. දැන් බලන්න කොච්චර ආදරේද කියලා. The spontaneity of feelings. Feelings වල තියෙන spontaneity එක, right? Spontaneity of feelings, right? how powerful, how charging the feelings are, right? How charging the feelings are. How electrifying the feelings are. How electrifying the feelings are. Feelings කොච්චර electrifying ද කියලා බලන්න. How warm. සරලවම කිව්වොත් how warm. කොච්චර උණුසුම්ද. Steve shouted. Steve shout කළා. Give me one of them. මට එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්න. මට එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්න. කොච්චර බලන්න how warm feelings are here. How warm feelings are here. Right. Okay. We had no time. We had to be fast. I knew that. දැන් බලන්න මේ මෑනට දෙවනවා වෙලාව පළකු කරන්න හොඳ නැහැ කියලා මෑනට දෙවනවා. We had to be fast. I knew that, but I didn't know what I was fleeing from. Right. ඊළඟ page එකට යනවා. I didn't stop for my we have got 3 pages and 4 pages. We'll finish it off quickly, but I need to analyze them each one by one separately. So that, okay. I didn't stop for my parents. I didn't stop for my parents. Underline it. Underline. I didn't stop for my parents. දෙමාපියෝ වෙනුවෙන්වත් නතර වුණේ නැහැ කියලා කියනවා. දෙමාපියෝ වෙනුවෙන්වත් නතර වුණේ නැහැ කියලා කියනවනේ. දෙමාපියෝ වෙනුවෙන්වත් නතර වුන්නේ නැහැලු. I didn't stop to knock on the door of my parents' room, which was next to ours, on the right as we ran out. I didn't shout to warn them. තේරෙනවද නේද පුතේ ඔය ටික? මොකද කියන්නේ? මම මේ ඕන points එක highlight කරන්න. මම බලන්න. When there are disasters like these, they even don't bother to call their parents or their relatives because of the close-knit bond between the family. They value family. Family bond. Family means father, mother, son, daughter, right? We call them especially the nuclearity of the family. The nuclear families, not extended families. This nuclear family is based on father, mother, and 1 or 2 sons or daughters. 1 daughter or 1 son, 1 daughter, 1 daughter, 1 son, or like that, right? Now here, also, because of the close-knit bond between Vic, Marley, Steve, and Sonali, they tried to embrace themselves much than calling out for their parents. එයාලගේ දෙමව්පියන්ට කතා කරනවටත් වැඩිය එයාලා ලං වුණා එයාලගේ පවුල බේර ගන්න. එයාලගේ පවුලේ යුනිට් එක බේර ගන්න. Right? Okay. So it shows how sometimes how the feelings become selfish. How our feelings become selfish. අපේ හැඟීම් කොහොමද සමහර විට ආත්මාර්ථකාමී වෙන්නේ කියන එක පෙන්නනෝනේ. අපේ හැඟීම් ආත්මාර්ථකාමී වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක පෙන්නන්නේ නැද්ද? බලන්න පුතේ හොඳට කල්පනා කරලා. How our feelings become selfish. දැන් මේක selfish feeling එකක් නේද? ආනද්ද? Don't you feel like that? එහෙනම් තේරෙන්නේ නැද්ද ඔයාලට? Our feelings, our feelings become selfish, sometimes selfless, sometimes erotic, කාමුක වෙනවා. සමහර විට sometimes very serene වෙනවා. ප්‍රසන්න වෙනවා. ශාන්ත දාන්ත වෙනවා. Sometimes, it deviates from, right? It deviates. It changes from different ways. Different ways වලට එක change වෙනවා, right? Okay. Due to the context. මොකකින්ද? ඒ සන්දර්භය තුල අපි ඉන්න අවස්ථාව අනුව ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා. Now here also feelings becoming selfish. අපේ හැඟීම් selfish වෙන අවස්ථාවක්. හොඳ උදාහරණයක්. I didn't stop to knock on the door of my parents' room, which was next to ours, on the right as we ran out. Now remember knocking. This knocking is very important. Knock කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ මොනව කරනවා? තට්ටු කරනවා. Knock තට්ටු කරනවා. This tapping is very, knocking is what? මේ knock කරන්නේ මොකටද? Knock on the door of my parents' room. Knock කරන්නේ කොහටද? Knocking on the door of my parents' room, which was next to ours, on the right as we ran out. So they are knocking on the death of their parents. That's knocking is symbolic. I didn't stop to knock. මම නතර වුන්නේ නොක් කරන්න කියලා කියන්නේ එයාලා they still become they become they become victims, right? They become victims. Isn't it clear? පැහැදිලිද? They become victims of the tsunami, right? And then what happens? That is the knock at the death gate. Death gate එකේ කරන knock එක death gate එකට කරන knock එකක් තමයි ඕක. That's very symbolic, right? Okay. My parents' room, which was next to ours, on the right as we ran out. I didn't shout to warn them. I didn't shout to warn them. Warning. I didn't shout to warn them. මම ඔවුන්ට warn කරන්න. මම ඔවුන්ට warn කරන්න. Shout කරන්න. කෑ ගැව්වේ නෑලු. I didn't bang on their door and call them out. I didn't bang. This bang is very symbolic also. Bang කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ bang. Explosion. Bang. Pipirim. Getting caught to the final ultimate end of their life. I didn't bang on their door and call them out. As I ran past for a splintered second for in a jiffy. For a splintered second means in a jiffy, in a fraction of second. In a fraction of second. I wondered if I shout, if I should. But I couldn't stop. I will stall us. It will stall us. Still stall us. What is stalling? I couldn't underline these ones පුතේ. For the splintered second, මෙන්න මේ වචන underline කරගන්න. As I ran past, in a splintered second, I wondered if I should. Right. Underline that. Take underline කරගන්න පුතේ. Okay. I couldn't stop us. It will stall us. It will stall us. But I couldn't stop. මට නතර වෙන්න බැරි වුණා. But I couldn't stop. It will stall us. ඒක අපිව සමහරට නතර කරන්න තිබ්බලු. We must keep running. අපි දුවන්න ඕනේ. I held the boys tight by their hands. We have to get out. අපිට එළියට යන්න වෙනවලු. We fled towards the driveway at the front of the hotel. The boys ran as fast as I could, as I did. They didn't stumble or fall. They were barefoot, but they didn't slow down because stones or thorns were hurting them. They didn't say a word. Our feet were loud, though I couldn't hear them slamming on the ground. Right. The boys ran as fast as I did. That's something interesting to me. මට මේක ලස්සන දෙයක් තියෙනවා. The boys ran as fast as I did. They didn't stumble or fall. Right? In the vicinity of death, මෙයා මතක තියාගන්න පුතේ මේ points මේ points ඉතාල වැදගත් points. In the vicinity of death, people are equal. In the vicinity of death, මරණය අභියස සියලු දෙනා සමානයි. දැන් මෙතන ඕනනම් කියන්න තිබ්බ නේද? The boys ran faster than me කියලා ඕනනම් කියන්න තිබ්බ නේ. කියලා තියෙනවද නෑ? එහෙම කියලා නෑ. මම I don't know the context here. The mindset of the Sonali, right? අපිට සොනාලිගේ හිත කියවන්න බෑනේ. Right? අපිට සොනාලිගේ හිත කියවන්න බෑ. සොනාලි ඒ රචකයාගේ අපිට හිත කියවන්න බෑ. නමුත් එයා එතන එහෙම ලියලා නැහැ. පැහැදිලිද? එයා එතන එහෙම ලියලා නැහැ. එයා ලියලා තියෙන්නේ the boys ran as fast as I did. මම දුවපු දුර වගේම මම දුවපා වගේම ඕනුත් දිව්වා කියලා. එතකොට අපි මරණය අභියස ඔක්කොම එක සමානයි පුතේ. right? එතකොට මරණය එනවා කියනකොට අපි ඔක්කොම බය වෙනවා. right? We all afraid. Whatever we say them, we call them pamporis. Whatever pamporis we say, we all are afraid to death. Right? Now here also very important universal theme highlighted, that is all are equal in front of death. මරණාභ්‍යස සියලු දෙනා සමානයි. Right? Now here they are running to save their life. ඔවුන්ගේ ජීවිතේ බේරගන්න මේ දුවන්නේ. Right? They didn't stumble or fall. They didn't stumble or fall. ඔවුන් වැටුන්නේ නැහැ. කකුල පැටලුන්නේ නැහැ. They were barefoot. They didn't stumble or fall. They didn't stumble. ඔවුන් වැටුන්නේ නැහැ. Underline කරන්න. They didn't stumble. These stumbling and falling are the disasters. මේවා තමයි disasters. Stumble වෙනවා, falling වෙනවා disasters. They were barefoot. They were barefoot. මේ barefoot කියන එකට තව සමානයි unexpected. Barefoot කියන්නේ සපත්තු නැතුව නිකම්ම. නිකම්ම කියන්නේ that's very natural. This is a natural incident. The nature. Not the nature. Nature has attacked on us. Nature has an attack on us. Nature got attack එකක් තියෙනවා අපිටනේ. Nature has an attack on us. But they didn't slow down because stones or thorns were hurting them. බලන්න කොච්චර ලස්සනට මම නම් ආසම ලයින් එක මෙන්න මේ ටික. But they didn't slow down because stones or thorns were hurting them. They didn't say a word. මේ බලන්න ලස්සන කියමනක් තියෙන. Our feet were loud though. අපේ කකුල් loud. That's a nice metaphor. That speaks volumes. ඒක volume ගානක් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් sentence එකක්. Our feet speak loud. How their feet can speak. That's one thing, personification. On the other hand, it's a metaphor. On the other hand, it's a nice connotation. It's a symbolic meaning to show how strong men can stand out of death. Strong men or women can stand out of death and face it strongly. කොහොමද ඒකට මුහුණ දෙන්න පුළුවන් කියන කතාව මේකෙන් කියනවා. I could hear them slam in the ground. I could hear them slam in the ground. I could hear them slam in the ground. Slam in the ground. මට කකුල ගහනවා බිම වැටෙනවා සද්ද ඇහුණානේ. Right. Slam in the ground. නේ. Slam කරනවා. Slamming. Slamming also symbolic. What is symbolic of slamming? Slamming. Slamming means, what is slamming the ground? Slamming. Gano. Slamming. The intensity of feelings. Slamming. I could hear them slamming the ground. Intensity of feelings. Feelings වල තියෙන intensity එක. Intensity of feelings. Intensity of feelings, right? Feelings වල තියෙන intensity එක, right? Ahead of us, a jeep was moving fast. Now it stopped. A safari jeep with the open back and sides and a brown canvas hood. The jeep was waiting for us. We ran up to it. I flung Vikram into the back and he landed face down on a green corrugated metal floor. Steve jumped in and picked him up. We were all inside now. Steve had Vic on his lap. I sat across from with Marley on mine. A man was driving the jeep. I didn't know who he was. Now you see how the human feelings work together, how they intermingle, how they rotate each other's life. කොහොමද එකිනෙකාගේ ජීවිතවලට කරකෙන්නේ කියන එක, right? Now here jeep driver, the universality of feelings. Feelings වල තියෙන universality එක. The universality of feelings වල තියෙන universality එක. කොච්චර ලස්සනයිද බලන්න මේ කියමන. I didn't know who he was. මම දන්නේ නැහැ කවුද කියලා. jeep driver කෙනෙක් නතර කරා මෙයාට. මෙයා නැංගා. Ahead of us was a jeep moving fast. Now I stopped. Safari jeep was on back and side and a brown canvas hood. දැන් මෙයා තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන. පුළුවන් නේද ඔයාලට මෙයා තේරුම් ගන්න. Right. This jeep was waiting for us. in the game of life, in the game of death, there are unknown phenomenon, there are unknown persons waiting for us in our lives to help us, to ruin us. අපිව වනසන්න අපේ ජීවිතේ සමහර කට්ටිය බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා. සමහරවිට අපිව බේරගන්න අපේ ජීවිතේ අපේ කට්ටිය උඟක් කොයින් හරි බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා. මේ බේරගන්න බලාගෙන හිටපු කෙනෙක් කවුද? ජීප් ඩ්‍රයිවර් කෙනෙක්. Right? We ran up to it. I flung Vikram into the back and he landed face down on the green corrugated metal floor. Steve jumped in and picked him up. මේවා ලස්සන කතන්දරයක් බලන්න. Steve jump කරලා අර වැඩිච්ච එක උඩට ගත්තනේ. උඩට අර මොකද කරන්නේ? We were all inside now. මෙන්න මේක අන්ඩර්ලයින් කරගන්න. We were all inside now. දැන් හතර දෙනාම ඇතුලේ. Steve had Vic on his lap. I sat across them. Mine was මේ ලයින් එක මත තියාගන්න. මේක පැය ගානක් ඇනලයිස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මම මේ ටයිම් එක මදි ඉඳ මම පොඩ්ඩක් skip කරනවා. Right, I skip it. So just try to listen to it. Right, create the mental picture how they face these situations. Right, we were all inside, they are all in the safe zone now. දැන් මෙයාලා හිතනවා, right, මෙයාලා තාම හිතනවා, දැන් මෙයාලා තාම හිතනවා මේ safe zone එකේ කියලා. බලමු safe zone එකේදී කියලා. We were all inside. Steve and Vic on his lap. I sat across from them with Mali on mine. A man was driving the jeep. I didn't know who he was. Right. Now I looked around me and nothing was unusual. Nothing was unusual. Now I looked around me and nothing was unusual. Underline කරගන්න එක පුතේ. Now I looked around me. Mama වටේට බැලුවා. And nothing was unusual. No frothing waters here. No frothing waters here. Only the hotel. It was all as it should be. The long rows of the rooms of clay tile roofs, the terracotta floors of the open corridors, the dusty orange, brown, grey driveway thick with the wild cactus on the both sides, all there. The waves must have receded, I thought. Receded කියන්නේ මොනවා වෙලා කියලාද? දැනගන්න ඕන ඕක. context එකෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. receded කියන්නේ මොනවා වෙලාද? මෙයා හිතන මොනවා වෙලා කියලාද? Waves must have receded. Receded කියන්නේ recede කියන්නේ මොනවා වෙලාද? recede කියන්නේ අඩු වෙලා. receded. Waves must have receded. Waves අඩු වෙලා කියලා හිතනවා. අර cactus ගස් වල දෙපැත්ත තිබුණු cactus ගසුයි මොනවද? cactus කියන්නේ මොනවද? පතොක් ගස්. cactus පතොක් ගස් වගේ දෙපැත්ත තිබුණ ඒවා. Right. Now in a way wild cactus, මේ බලන්න ලස්සන වචනයක් පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවා, wild cactus on both sides. Underline කරගන්න. Very symbolic. ඊටාම symbolic. Wild cactus on both sides. The long rows. May long rows the long rows rooms with clay tile roofs and terracotta floors of the open corridors, the dusty orange, brown, grey driveway thick with wild cactus on both sides. May long rows of the rooms with clay tile roofs. These words symbolize the life of the people who are under extreme comforts. Extreme comforts වල ජීවත් වෙන මිනිසුන්ගේ ජීවන රටාව තමයි මේකෙන් මේවා කරන්නේ, right? ඒ අතරේ මෙයාලට මේ සිද්ධිය වුණාට පස්සේ when they face it, they leave the place and they run away and they get into the jeep. But these lives of people, right, especially the people who face these disasters, right, wild cactus on both sides, this is very symbolic, Wild cactus on both sides, symbolic of wild cactus. This word wild is very important. Wild cactus on both sides is symbolic of their oncoming tragedy into their life. Both sides can be interpreted as sometimes both sides means left and right. Maybe sometimes both sides means left and right, right and left. Maybe her husband and two sons, or husband and two sons. Understand? Husband or two sons. Probably it can be interpreted like that. Especially wild cactus. Wild cactus. The word wild cactus stands out as a symbol of the entangled life, the disastrous life they are going to face in few seconds. Few seconds. විනාඩි කීපයකින් ඉස්සරහට අත්පත් වෙන්න යන ජීවිතයේ සිම්බලික් එක මතු කරන වයිල්ඩ් කැක්ටස්. කැක්ටස් කියන්නේ පතොක් ගහනේ. පතොක් කටුව ඇවුනාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඇවුනාම පතොක් ගහක් නිකන් නියෝජනය කරන්නේ. Entanglement. The complication. Right? Complete labyrinth. Sampurna Pamagala. Right? So something like that. Okay? I hadn't seen Olanta run with us, but she must have done. She was in the jeep. Who is Olanta? කවුද දැන් මේ Olanta කියන්නේ? කවුද Olanta? කවුද Olanta? කවුද Olanta? අහගෙන ඉන්නව නේද ඔක්කොම? I hadn't seen Olanta run with us, but she must have done. She was in the jeep. Her parents had rushed out of their rooms as we came out of ours. And now her father, Anton, was with us too. Olanta's mother, Beulah, was hoisting herself into the jeep and the driver revved the engine. කවුද පුතේ Olanta කියන්නේ? කියලා බැලුවේ නේද? Olanta කියන්නේ මෙයාගේ friend. Right? Make a friend. Right? Okay. I didn't see Olanta run with us, but she must have done. She was in the jeep. Her parents had rushed out of their rooms as we came out of ours. We ran, and now her Anton was with us too. Olanta's mother Beulah was hoisting herself into the jeep, and the driver revved the engine. මේ මාන් තවත් ට්‍රැජඩි එකක් වෙනවා මෙතනනේ. මෙතන මොකද වෙන්නේ? එයාගේ දෙමව්පියෝ කවුද? එයාලගේ දෙමව්පියෝ කවුද පුතේ? කියන්න පුළුවන්ද කවුද කියලා? කතා කරන්න පුතේ. ඇන්ටන් සහ කවුද? Beulah. Anton saw Beulah. Anton saw Beulah. Olanta's parents, Anton, was with us too. Olanta's mother Beulah was hoisting herself into the jeep and the driver revved the engine. Revved is very onomatopoeic. Revved, very onomatopoeic, and it shows the revving of the engine. The jeep jerk. Jerk again onomatopoeic. Right? It shows the action of the jeep. I'll hurry up to මම පොඩ ඉක්මන් කරනවා. තා ජූට්ටයි තියෙන්නේ. Right. Forward and lost her grip. Fell off. The driver didn't see this. Driver didn't see this. Driver මෙයා දැක්කද? Driver didn't see. Driver මෙයාව දැක්කේ නැහැ. Driver didn't see this. I told him to stop. I kept yelling to him that he had fallen out, but he kept going. You see how tragic that is? Beulah lay on the driveway and looked up as we pulled away. She half smiled in confusion, it seemed. දැන් මේ බාන් ජිප් එක යනවා. ජිප් එක යනකොට කවුද වැටෙන්නේ පුතේ? කවුද වැටෙන්නේ? කතා කරන්න ඕනේ.
Beulah.
Beulah වැටෙනවා. Right? So I kept yelling to him that she had fallen out, but she kept going. Now, in the intensity of emotions, you see how these people react each other. Reactions, lot of reactions. Myriads of reactions. Myriads of reactions. Myriads of reactions are there, right? Reactions, actions, actions, reactions, everything, right? Beulah lay on the driveway and looked up, pulled away. She half smiled. Half smile. Half smiling is symbolic. What is half smiling? Half smile. In confusion it seemed. Half smile. That is a half smile. She half smiled. That is something compassionate. We feel we are made to sympathize with her, right? Half smile. She half smiled. We are made to sympathize with her. Not only we are made to sympathize with her, we are made to sympathize with Beulah, we are made to sympathize with Anton, we are made to sympathize with Olanta, right? Everybody. Not only those, we are made to sympathize with Mali, Vic, Steve, Sonali, everybody, right? We are made to sympathize with them, right? Anton leaned out of the back and reached Beulah and dragged her up. When he couldn't, he jumped out. බලන්න කොච්චර ලස්සන කතන්දරයක්ද කියලා. Anton leaned out of the back and reached Beulah. Back to reach Beulah. Beulahට ළඟා වෙන්න reach වෙන්න මොකද කරේ? Anton leaned out නැමුණා and dragged her up. ඇදලා ගන්න. When he couldn't, එයාට බැරි වෙනකොට මොකද කරේ? He jumped out. You see how human bonds work. How human bonds work. මනුෂ්‍ය බැඳීම් වැඩ කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා බලන්න. The love, the compassion, the affection, the care, the love. Right? They were both lying on the gravel now. දැන් අර බොරළු ගොඩේ වැටිලා. But didn't call out to the driver to wait for them. He was driving very fast. He is right, I thought. We have to keep moving. Soon we will be away from the hotel. අපි hotel එකකින් ඈත් කියලා හිතුවා. We were leaving my parents behind. We were leaving my parents behind. Underline කරන්න. We were leaving my parents behind. I panicked now. මම panic වුණා, කලබල වුණා. Right? There comes a situation when we feel guilty conscious. Feel guilty conscious. දැන් මේක guilty conscious mind එක පෙන්වන්න කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒක උදාහරණයක්. Right? Guilty conscious. We feel guilty because we have left out some humans that are related to us, but it is because of the intensity of emotions, right? If I had screamed at their doors as we ran out, they could have run with us. We didn't get Archie and Sia. I yelled to Steve. This made Vikram cry. මේ බාන් පොඩි උන්ගේ ආදරේ. මේ බාන් කොච්චර ලස්සනට human bonds work කරන්නට කියලා තියෙනවද කියලා. This made Vikram cry. වික්‍රම්ට මොකද වුනේ? අනන්න හිතුනලුනේ, අනන්න හිතුනා. This made Vikram cry. වික්‍රම්ට ඇඬුණා නෙමෙයි, ඇඬෙව්වා. වික්‍රම ඇඬෙව්වා ඒක. This made Vikram cry. This made completely disappointed, completely shocked, completely flabbergasted. මෙයා flabbergasted කරා, තුෂ්ණිම්භූත කරා. Right? Okay. Right, okay. Next one. Steve held on his hip, clasping him to his chest. Archie and Sia. Archie and Sia. Archie and Sia will be okay. They will come later. They will come. Steve said. Vic stopped crying and snuggled into Steve. What happened? Archie and Sia will be okay. Now we try to normalize the situation. Archie and Sia will be okay. Now we call them earlier we called them what? Parents. Now we call them Archie and Sia. We see how the relationships are going to die with the death. Meban. අපි කලින් කිව්ව මොනවා කියලාද? අපි අපිට කලින් කියනවා මොනවද ආච්චන්සිය කියලා. මොනවද කලින් අපිට කිව්වේ? කලින් කිව්වේ මොනවද කියලාද? parents. Right? දැන් කියනවා ආච්චන්සිය. In the viewpoint of Vikram. Vikramගේ viewpoint එකෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් mention කරනවානේ. chest. දැන් මෙයා කියනවා කවුද මේ කියන්නේ? සොනාලි කියන්නේ ආච්චන්සිය will be okay. කවුද කියන්නේ? Sonali කියනවා ආච්චන්සිය will be okay. They will come later. They will come. Steve said. Vic stopped crying and snuggled into Steve. Vic stopped crying and snuggled into Steve. Snuggle. තුරුලුණා. කාටද? ස්ටීව්ට. බලන්න කොච්චර ලස්සනද කියලා. Archie. Now all these relationships, all these bonds, all these names, all these aunties, all these uncles, all these cousins, all these nephews, all these nieces, all these daughters, all these sons, all these fathers, mothers, wives, husbands, everybody, all these names, all these attachments are going to end soon. Right? This attachment is going to end soon. That's what Archansia symbolize. Archansia method symbolize karne ek. The attachment is going to end in this disaster situation. I was thankful for Steve's words. I was reassured. Steve is right. There was no wave now. Now after sudden attacks they find something normal. Attacks වලට පස්සේ සමහර හිතනවා පොඩ්ඩක් වුණාට පස්සේ ඒක හරි කියලා. Right? Now I was thankful to Steve's words. I was reassured. Steve is right. There is no wave now. Then මෙයා හිතනවා දැන් වැඩේ හරි කියලා. There was no wave now. Ma and Da, they will walk out of their room. We will get out of the first and they will join us. I had an image of my father walking out of the hotel. There were puddles everywhere. We had his trousers rolled up. I'll ring her mobile as soon as I get into phone, I thought. Now this is all we call stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness කියන්නේ පුතේ විඥාන ධාරා රීතිය. මොකද්ද කියන්නේ විඥාන ධාරා රීතිය? මොකද්ද කියන්නේ විඥාන ධාරා රීතිය? මෙයාට මේ සිද්ධිය මෙහෙම වෙනකොට මෙයාට මතක් වෙන මෙයාගේ අම්මයි තාත්තයි. මෙයාට මෙයාගේ අම්මයි තාත්තයි මතක් වෙනවා. මෙයාගේ අම්මයි තාත්තයි මතක් වෙලා මෙයා මතක් කරනවා තාත්තා මෙහෙම ඉන්නවා තාත්තා එළියට එන හැටි මතක් කරනවා. right? puddles කියන්නේ මේ දිය කඩලවල් තියෙනවා. ඒ හැමතැනම තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ trouser එක උඩට මේව කරගන්නවා. මම අම්මට කතා කරනවා කියලා මේ මතක් කරනවා. right? Now you see when something happens we try to when especially these disaster situations, unexpected tragedies happens, we tend to reassure our bonds. We try to reassure our bonds. Our bonds reassure කරගන්න හදනවා අපිනේ. We try to strengthen them. ශක්තිමත් කරගන්න හදනවා අපිව ශක්තිමත් කරගන්න හදනවා. So this is one such situation. මේක ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවක්, right? Okay. We were nearing the end of the hotel driveway. We were about to turn left onto the dirt track and run by the lagoon. Steve started at the road ahead of us. He kept banging his heel on the floor of the jeep. Hurry up, get a move on. හරි මෙයා කෑ ගහන්න ගත්තා Steve young කියලා නේ, right? The jeep was in the water then. Suddenly all this water inside the jeep. Water soaking over the knees. Where did this water come from? Water sloshing over our knees. Water sloshing over our knees. Water මොකද කරේ sloshing over our knees. Water sloshing over our knees. Our knees වලට පිරෙන්න වතුර පිරුණා. Where did this water come from? මේ වතුර කොහෙන්ද ආවේ? Now this question is very important, right? Where did this water come from? These questions are quite akin to the questions like where this life come from. These are philosophical questions, right? මේ ජීවිතේ කොහෙන්දලා දෙන්නේ? අපිට හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන් අපිට ජීවිතේ කොහෙන්ද දෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. Where this water come from? Where this life come from? මේ ජීවිතේ කොහෙන්දලා දෙන්නේ? එක පාටම හිතෙනවා මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නනේ. මේ ජීවිතේ කොහෙන්දලා දෙන්නේ? මරණය කොහෙන්දලා දෙන්නේ? අන්න ඒ වගේ philosophical question එකක් තමයි symbolically මේ අහලා තියෙන්නේ, right? I didn't see those waves get to us. This water must have burst out from the beneath the ground. What is happening? The jeep moved forward slowly. I could hear its engine straining, snarling. Unlike කරගන්න, I could hear its engine snarling. Right? හරි. ඒක අහන්න ලස්සනයි ඒක. Right? I could hear its engine straining, snarling. We can drive through this water, I thought. මම හිතන්නේ මේ වතුරාලා දුවන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපිට හිතුවා කියලා මෙයා හිතුවා. Right? We can drive through this water, I thought. We were tilting from sight. The water racing now, filling the jeep. It came to us. It came to our chests. Steve and I lifted the boys as high as we could. Steve held Vic and I had Mal. බලන්න මේ දෙන්නගේ සම්බන්ධතාවය. Unshakable bond. Unshakable bond. කඩන්න බැරි සම්බන්ධතාවයක් නේ. Unshakable bond. Right? Unshakable bond. We were lifting. Steve and I lifted the boys. Steve and I lifted the boys. මේ බලන්න මරණයෙන් අපි ළමයි ඉන්න විතරක් නෙමෙයි අපි ජීවිතේ ඔසවන්න try කරනවානේ. When I lifted the boys as high as we could, Steve held Vic, I had Mal. Their faces above the water, the tops of their heads pressing against the jeep canvas suit. Our hands tight under their armpits. The jeep rocked. It was floating. The wheels no longer gripping the ground. We kept steadying ourselves on the seats. No one spoke. No one uttered a sound. බලන්න කොච්චර tragedy එකක්ද කියලා. ලස්සන චිත්‍රූපේ මවා ගන්න. ජීප් එක අනිත් පැත්ත ගහලා පෙරලෙනවා. Right? Then I saw Steve's face. I'd never seen him like that before. I'd never seen him like that before. මම යා මේ විදිහට දැකලා නැහැ. A sudden look of terror, eyes wide open. In front of death we are all like that. මරණය අපි ඔක්කොම මේ වගේ, right? Look of terror, eyes open, wide open, mouth agape. We saw something behind me I couldn't see. I didn't have time to turn round and look because it turned over. The jeep turned over on my side. Pain. මම තනි වචනකින් කියලා දෙනවා pain. වේදනාව. Pain. Pain කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Pain. Pain. වේදනාව. Pain. වේදනාව. All what we have acquired is released with pain. All we have acquired with strength is released with pain. අපි ඔක්කොම acquire කරගත්ත දේවල් release කරගන්නේ pain එකත් එක්ක වේදනාවත් එක්ක. All we have acquired, all the titles, all the names, all the wealth, all the things lead but to the grave, as Thomas Gray says. Thomas Gray කියන වගේ ඔක්කොම lead කරන්නේ කොහටද? grave එකට. ඒ වගේ pain lead to the grave. That was all I could feel. Where am I? Something was crushing my chest. I am trapped under the jeep. Mama trapped under the jeep, I thought. I am being flattened by it. I tried to push it away. I wanted to wriggle out, but it was too heavy. Water was on me, the pain unrelenting in my chest. Now this is the pain she feels at the end, right? Right, she is in between two worlds right now. I wasn't stuck under anything, I was moving. I could tell now. My body was curled up, I was spinning past. Am I on water? It didn't feel like water, but it had to be, I thought. Superb blend of what? Superb blend of pathos plus pathos කියන්නේ දුකක් වගේ නිකන්. Superb blend of tragedy mixed into what? මොකක්ද mix කරලා තියෙන්නේ? Superb blend of tragedy mixed into uncertainty of life, the death of life. ජීවිතේ මරණයට කැටි කරලා තියෙනවා, right? I was stuck under anything. I was moving. I couldn't tell now. My body was curled up. I was spinning fast. Am I underwater? I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like water, but it had to be. I thought I was being dragged along, and my body was whipping backward and forward. I couldn't stop myself. When at times my eyes opened, I could see water, smoky and grey. Again, grey symbolic of death and decay. Right? You need to read the other part. අනිත් part එක කියවන්න ඕනේ පුතේ ඔයාලා නම්. Right, okay. That's the end of the text. So disaster situation coming to an end, and she was all alive at the end somehow. And what happens? What happens? What happens? And all others get caught to the disaster, calamity, or else the disaster, catastrophe, or what do you call? There's another nice word: catastrophe, disaster, or calamity. Yeah, of course. Nice piece of literature. Last piece of literature ganne. Did you enjoy it? Enjoy karada? That's what I want. මට ඕන ඔයාලගෙන් එච්චරයි. ඔයාලා enjoy කරා නම් එච්චරයි. Did you enjoy?
Yes.
Were you feeling sleepy? No, I don't think. Right, super. Right, okay. Then we'll end the class for today and we'll meet tomorrow or within 2 days, 2-3 days. Okay. Have a nice day. Good night, then, guys, boys and girls, everybody. Good night. Have a nice day.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night,
Good
sir.
night, sir.